And we're back. Welcome to the Daly Joe podcast.
Where we talk about things that we don't really know much about.
That's right, but we've heard about.
We've heard about
Maybe
it.
true, maybe not
And we know
true.
a few things. You're a realtor. You have your heart and soul in this town.
That's
I'm
true.
now on the town council, planning and zoning.
You might know a thing or two at this
might know
point.
a thing or two.
I think we've peeled back one layer of ignorance on your behalf, and
Yes.
wow, there's a lot more there. But no, you're doing a great job, and
As
we
you say in the
appreciate
software development world, no, just enough to be dangerous.
That's right. Just enough to, maybe I shouldn't have adjusted that. No, but I think what's great about your service on there is you do take in all the information, and then any changes you make are the strong town way. We're doing small incremental steps, easy to implement, see a result, and keep moving forward, or make an adjustment the other way if that's better.
And one of the first principles is to look, get your feet on the street and actually look and talk to people and find out what's going on. And so we keep trying to think about different blocks, different places, and be specific about it. Steve, I don't know what it means. We had an audience of one, and she just walked out. That's not a good sign.
I don't know. I just showered, so I'm looking at you, Joe.
All right. So we just have a quick show today. So unfortunately we're going to have to skip the scuttlebutt on Willimantic today, which I love that.
I love the scuttlebutt, but I've got a showing to get to.
All right.
My next door
That's
neighbor's
right.
house.
Yes,
Actually.
which I should have bought, but I can't.
I'm disappointed that you're not.
I love my house in South Wyndham. All right, so the 804 Main project, otherwise known as the Tinson lot. Mm-hmm. Now
Otherwise known as the cupcake for later parking lot.
it's that plot of land that seems to fall off a cliff.
Right.
Gravel, stone. What is that spot? The Economic Development Committee is decided to focus on that spot to do something with it.
That's good.
And it's come up in a couple meetings that I've been in recently. No definitive plans other than to try to make it a place. So there's a whole place-making movement around, what would make people, if they're coming down here, to want to go to that spot.
Right. I mean, it makes sense to think that way, I think, in this modern age now. It used to be all the businesses and the stores. People get a lot of things online now. So those draws to downtown aren't there as much. And if they still are buying things in person, we have a lot of big box realtors.
I think of one example of placemaking that's on Main Street, and that is the little patio space on the side and behind Grounded.
I love it. By the parking garage.
Right, by the parking garage. I mean, that was just derelict. And it's a great spot now.
Right.
And it draws people. There's music out there when the weather's better. So these are important to create some of these spaces that people want to go to. So I want to pose the question to you, regardless of what those experts think on the Economic Development Committee.
Experts.
If you had your magic wand, Stephen, what would you put in that space? What would you do to it?
The first thing that comes to mind is, a space similar to the Grounded space, a space that's free for people to go, sit, relax, and enjoy, but also connect it to Riverside Drive so that we could have Riverside Drive as a more walkable, away from the traffic, Riverside, as the name implies, trackside, retail space where it's nice to walk and be away from the traffic, but still connected to Main Street. So you can still park in the parking garage, go down a little ways, past your favorite coffee shop, past your favorite, I guess you're getting your haircuts and your tattoos on the way, maybe your taxes are getting done. You can stop by Swift Waters for some cool artwork. But then you get there and really help connect Willimantic to the river and the green space around it down there. I feel like we're so close to that beautiful river.
So what would that look like to make that connection? What would you do?
Probably some terraces.
Terrace it all the way down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you could go halfway down, and there's a space there.
Yeah, and by doing so, it almost becomes an amphitheater too.
Ooh,
You
for if you're playing, you could play. You could play down on River.
Right.
You could be up there in the audience.
Yeah.
The terrace would be an
Wouldn't that be
incredible
awesome?
spot. I love that idea.
Yeah, it would take away the parking, and I know people value parking on Main Street. We do have a lot more by the rec center. We do have a lot more at the parking garage now. I think if you coupled it with opening traffic to the parking garage from Walnut Street, just to make it more accessible.
Just to be clear, what you're saying is turn Walnut Street into two direction. Right now it's one way, so it's kind of hard to get to.
Correct. Yeah.
So you want to be able to get to it from either direction, either from Valley Street or from Main Street.
Right. Just making parking easier, because I know that's going to be an issue, taking away that parking space. A lot of people park there. Right. And it's great for, I think, a cupcake for later, and what's Green Beauty used to be there. What's High Styles Salon now?
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't want to take away from that. However, I think if they had people hanging out in that space, they might find sales actually increase by taking away that parking and having people actually use that and be around their businesses more. So
we often talk about and say things that we have no real knowledge about.
That's right. This is a gamble.
This is part. So I think maybe there are a number of people that are parking in that spot all day.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually may not be as productive a parking spot for those businesses. You know, I mean,
right.
There's no sign that says you can only park here for an hour or two.
Right.
There's any signage.
There's a big sign there saying that it's owned by the town, but that's all I.
So I would like to see it graded. Right now, it like drops off.
Yeah.
Maybe there needs to be some like shade. Some people under there.
Some plantings.
Some benches. That people's some good lighting, so that. It's not drawing a derelict.
Yeah,
element.
Right.
I think that's always going to be a concern for a lot of people.
Yeah, good lighting is huge there.
But maybe there could be some kind of climbable art.
Climbable art.
Like a little kids like up to 8 years old. They
like
jump
a little
on.
playground thing.
Yeah, like a little frog.
But tasteful.
But tasteful, artistic. We can commission people, for the artwork.
But
celebrate Wyndham's artsiness.
Right, but it would be something like, as a parent, I wouldn't have to be yelling at the kids, "Hey, get off of that!"
No, you
because we know they're gonna climb it.
We know they're gonna climb it.
Yeah. Oh wow, Joe, that's next level thinking.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah. And maybe in terms of commerce, one of the ideas that I thought was nice is if, even though it's like, I would want it to be very, like you look at it, you say it's a pedestrian landscape, but it's not impossible or destructive actually to maybe pull up a truck in there. That could,
interesting.
Like a truck could sell some food, whether it's, tacos or hot dogs or cupcakes, somebody
that wouldn't take up too much space to have like a lane like on the side there where you can have that.
I think you're going to need something like that just to be able to get in and out and do maintenance on the place.
Could we have bike parking there?
Bike parking, yeah, right. We should like this. We want to, someday. We're going to be really.
We should be on this committee.
We're going to be really smart about selling that. This is a really great place to bike. Now we got some bike path issues, but there's so many bike trails. It's like come here and
the Greenway is bam.
Here's this.
This is it.
Here's like the 804 is like the spot to meet when you're like in the middle of your big bike run.
Right. Absolutely,
yeah, definitely sell that.
You could bike there. Where is bike parking right now? Town Hall.
I don't know where you.
And I think that's it, right? Where you can actually lock up a bike safely.
Yeah. You put maybe we
used to have one at the library.
Maybe we have a camera. A camera in there for security. So, so if people are locking their bikes up, we can at least use that as a deterrent. Doesn't even have to be a camera that works.
What? Don't say that. Don't say that. No, listeners, it will absolutely work and be connected to the Atlantic Police Department. Yeah, no monitor 24/7. Well, this is beautiful creative thought.
There's potential for, isn't there like both the buildings that border it, they could be painted.
Oh,
We
yeah. They could be.
do
And there's a
murals.
beautiful mural there now.
Oh, there is.
Right, one. But there could easily be
Okay.
more. I mean, they are big buildings, and we have some wonderful artists in town.
So you need some kind of fencing over the, like, yes, you might terrace it, but like
Thank you.
some of it's going to kind of be a cliff,
Some of it, well,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a kind of a steep hill right now, isn't it?
it's pretty steep. It's pretty steep. I think about, okay, how do we actually get to Riverside Drive right now? There's the between Trigo, right, and Ray Jeans, or not Ray
Yeah,
Jeans anymore.
It's right by Trigo.
There's an alley.
Yeah.
You can get down there. You go to the emo.
Oh, yeah, that's not too bad.
space.
Yeah.
It's not that bad, but that's, I think, on the lower end of Main Street, right?
Yeah.
It is steeper the higher you go.
That's
This
right.
is probably in the middle, and then I think about up by Stone Row. There's the steps between
Yeah.
there and what's that? Now it's a Latin market, right?
Oh, it's up there.
Or the pharmacy. There's steps.
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
are pretty
okay.
steep back there. Those are pretty steep. So it's.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to gauge. It's halfway between those two steepnesses. So I think you get down in like 3 terraces and have steps in
I
between.
I wonder if there's some way to, instead of, you could grade it all out so it's flat, and that actually makes it more steep in some ways. But what if you actually started the steps like more towards like the middle of the spot?
Yeah.
So it's more inviting to like get connected to
Right.
the river.
Right.
Instead of the steps just being purely utilitarian,
Right.
like they're sort of bigger, and the steps themselves are a place to hang
sit
out.
and hang. Yeah, they work as
Like
seats.
you could have like a big wide step
Yeah.
and a seat on there. It's like it's a little more private. It's probably cooler in the summertime.
I like it. Yeah.
I don't know how much all of these steps cost. I mean, I imagine money's a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's the question, Joe. Who's going to pay for it?
Yeah, well, these are priorities, and so then you say, okay, well, is there an economic benefit to something like this? And it'd be good to try to get examples of other towns that have created. I mean, you see other towns that have created pedestrian plazas.
Yeah.
And these places blow up.
Yeah, right. All I think about is when I went to New Paltz, New York, another college town similar to this, an old mill town. It's got a river. It's got a bike trail that comes through, and they capitalized on that.
Yeah.
There is the main street where there's still a lot of cars. Sidewalks are wide.
Yeah.
They have trees
Wide.
on them. It's a bit of a hike. It's a hill, similar to ours actually. And then in addition, there's the pedestrian-only walking space that goes through a bunch of retail shops.
Yeah.
And that is a really cool spot. They have like water features in there. There's little gardens with sit downs.
Well, that could be. You start to get to like Riverside. you know,
Right.
like
Well,
that.
that's what Riverside Drive could be that right next to the main thoroughfare.
Well,
And I think both could be alive with business.
Well, I think that the general concept of placemaking in that place seems brilliant to me.
It's right in the center too.
Yes, you could put up another building, and get tax revenue from it. That's positive.
Don't get me wrong, that's good.
But you got to create reasons for people to come besides just the specific. If you want a destination to downtown, you have to have 2 or 3 things that people want to do. And that needs to be one of the things.
Let's think about this quick because we only have about 2 more minutes,
All right,
really.
wrap it up for us.
But just to that point, when you say putting a building there, one nice thing about that, I think the Strong Towns approach would say, well, that's more versatile, right? You could have multiple different things in it versus a park or a green space. Well, actually, a green space, to your point, you put in a pad so you can have food trucks. You put in a little play space so that kids can go and jump around and it's tastefully done. You make it terrace so it's an amphitheater too. So I guess you could, no. All right, I'm backtracking what I had said. Because I was thinking maybe a building was more versatile.
Well,
but a
now
green
you
space
got me
could be
thinking
very
that
versatile.
maybe there's a role for a smaller building.
No. We got enough buildings down there. I'm taking out the building.
Not a huge brownstone, but something that could be rented out potentially or consigned or...
Not a bad idea. I guess now that I said it all, I look at all the other buildings on Main Street and say, why not renovate those if you want a building
Yeah, there's plenty of
and
them.
use this as the connection
But not
to
for long.
Riverside?
Get
Not for long.
Get them while they're hot.
That's right, everyone. Get them while they're hot. Main Street is coming back. This is the time to invest and get in and create our community's future.
All right, well, that's a wrap on that line.
Beautiful.
All right, well, cheers to you.
Cheers to
On
you.
one shot. Cheers, everybody.
Have a wonderful day.
All right, see ya. Ribbit.
Ribbit.